Dragon about the Royal Rumble and Raw 30. We said at the end of our last podcast that's what we were talking about in this podcast. So before anything happens, if you guys didn't see the Royal Rumble, spoiler review right now. Don't watch the live stream. Go watch the Rumble. We don't want to spoil anything for the people who did not see the Royal Rumble. I know a lot of YouTubers don't do spoiler alerts, but we don't want to spoil it for anybody. So, first off, let's talk about fucking Raw 30. Now, we talked about this shit briefly in the party on PlayStation, but Raw 30 was a fucking disappointment. You know why? Because it's like, when you think of the 30 years of Monday Night Raw, you would think that they would have the first people from that original show or that era of 1993, like a Hogan, or I know Hogan's legs are fucked up. I read some shit about that. Hogan can't feel his legs or some shit. But yeah, I mean, Bret Hart, like, why the fuck was Bret Hart not there? Why was the guys that opened the doors in 1993 not part of the 30th anniversary? Like, if you look, like I said, at the 20th anniversary of Raw, they had way more people involved in that than they had the 30th anniversary. It was weird to me. Just Ric Flair, the DX shit is getting old. It's like, okay, when in doubt, let's get Ric Flair and DX on here.
Ric Flair's always Ric Flair can pop up anytime he wants.
Mhm.
DX was already on like a couple of weeks ago, like just before the end of the year last year, for whatever celebration they had, and I don't know why they needed big Kurt Angle. He was probably ended up joining them, and he was already on a couple weeks ago too for his birthday.
I
Like
forgot about Kurt Angle.
seen these guys like a bunch of times. The Undertaker we've seen a bunch of times. In the
Yeah,
last
it's like,
years.
it's not hard to get the legends that they got. Like, it's not hard to call Taker and say, hey, we need you. It's not hard to call Triple H and say, hey, we need you. He's a fucking COO.
But Triple H is always there. So
He's always there. Shawn Michaels is always around. Flair is always around. These are guys that just basically work at the fucking NXT building.
And then the other guys, you think you just get them easily. So it's like, why they're there?
It makes no sense to me. Like, Raw 30, like, you would think, like, you have to celebrate the 30th anniversary of that show with the people that was on the first show of Monday Night Raw. Diamond Dallas Page was in fucking WCW, so why the fuck was he there? DDP was WCW guy. Triple H was a WCW guy in '93. Triple H was not a part of the WWE in '93. He was in the WCW developmental, like, they think it's called a Nitro building or some shit. No, that was before Nitro, so he was in a WCW development, but he was not a part of WWE. So my point is, why do you have wrestlers on the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw that was not even a part of the first show? Shawn Michaels was a part of the first show. I believe Bret Hart was a part of the first show. Rest in peace, Roddy Piper. A lot of those guys have passed away, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that was the only good thing about Raw 30, we agreed, was the tribal chief, putting Sami Zayn on trial. That was the only good thing about that fucking show. It wasn't even about the legends.
It was probably the only best part of that whole entire show was the whole segment.
Mm-hmm.
That night. The rest was just like whole crap. Like no other legends come out. And I wasn't even there. You didn't have the McFoley in them. Foley wasn't there? Surprising because years ago he would have been on Raw. You had I said Bret Hart there.
Kane. Well, no, Kane wasn't on Raw to '97, so yeah, true. No Kane.
Yeah, unless he had some work to do because he's here and there. Rock was there, but his schedule was so busy.
No Stone Cold. I mean, the guy who put you on the map in the '90s, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the guy that put Attitude and Attitude Era, was not there.
So it's like those guys there, and it's just and then these ridiculous matches. Like you say, okay, you got this steel cage match between Becky and Bayley.
and that was a
That
fucking bust.
that never happened.
It never happened, and it was horrible. It's like they only did that to like get you to like come to the show. They just literally beat the shit out of Becky Lynch.
Ooh, no match.
No match, no contest. Beat the hell out of her. She can't compete. That to me was really, it was a letdown, in my opinion. Everything about that, and then the United States match
Yeah,
was fucked because of Brock Lesnar. Well, I love Brock Lesnar, but
that's like
he did fucking F5 Theory and just throw him on Bobby.
it's like fucking. It comes down marching down, fucking F5's Bobby, and then he takes Theory, as I said, and F5's him, lands him right on top of him, and boom,
Yeah,
Theory pin retains. It was like an interference. There was no Theory won it by him, retained himself, and Bobby didn't win it. It's like interference, and then that's like okay. It's almost like now that's going to start a rivalry between Brock and Bobby.
once again, it already happened last year. Just like how we are sick of the Roman and Brock Lesnar dynamic, because at this point, I think Roman won. This like chapter one of the rivalry. Brock, when Brock was still a heel, he won in my opinion. But now when Roman is a heel, he beat Brock. You know. So my point is, to me, the WWE is in a weird place with their talent right now. They're in a really shitty place because a lot of legends got heat, like Mick Foley and the Bella Twins. Like I
Yeah, that's
read somewhere that they got a lot of heat with WWE for not involving them in Raw 30.
another one. Those are because I heard something they were supposed to be part of it.
Hmm.
The Bella Twins,
Yeah,
but
the Bella Twins started. They were the first two that kind of shaped that Divas division into what it is today. They kind of like kicked that barrier down for women to be like viewed as like WWE like the men basically. And the WWE don't get enough credit for this. And I think you can agree. Every sport that female plays, like the WNBA or the I forgot what it's called for the female, the women's football league or whatever. I think it's WFBA or some shit. They don't get the same attention or the same credit as the NBA players or the NFL players. They won't. But wrestling is the first sport that kind of got it where it's like a Charlotte Flair can sell out an arena just like a Roman Reigns. Wrestling was the first to kind of do that, but that's all credit to Trish Stratus, Lita, and the Bella Twins and people like that kicking down those barriers, being considered equals and shit.
well, exactly. Well, yeah, I agree exactly.
So you kind of have to have Lita, Trick. You gotta have those people a part of shows like that. Raw 30 was to me was a fucking disaster. It's a disappointment. That's all you can say. It was a disappointment to me.
It was
It just seemed like it was a regular episode of Monday Night Raw. It didn't seem like it was any special. It just seemed like it was a title match at the end, like any other Raw, and a couple legends that came back that we see every fucking week. We see Ric Flair every now and then all the time. Woo, my daughter is this fucking champion once again. Okay.
Ooh,
Like I do like Charlotte Flair, don't get me wrong, but we can see Rick anytime we see Charlotte.
yeah. That it just really useless. It's almost the only thing like that I've only just was the beginning of the whole show. That's it. As soon as that travel thing was done, it's like it was pretty just useless watching it.
Pretty much.
That's
Like I
it.
said, it was a fucking nightmare. It was. And, you know, I don't know because we never talked about the Rumble. I wanted to do that live. But my thoughts on the Rumble, moving on to that, the Rumble was in terms of like booking, it was fucking disappointing to me because it is no way that we should be able to predict who's going to win the men's Royal Rumble. I knew Cody Rhodes was going to win the Royal Rumble. I knew
That,
it. We all knew that.
exactly.
When those promos came back of him being in the gym, this is where I'm at peace. This is where I said he's winning the Royal Rumble. That's the first thing I said. He's winning the fucking Royal Rumble. I'm
Yep.
I'm
It was,
coming back at the Royal Rumble.
but it was a given because instead of like what they should have done, right? Is they should have never done that commercial of him,
Yeah,
and it should have been a surprise.
they should have never. You're right. They should have never announced he was returning. They should have never said anything about Cody Rhodes coming back. It should have just been boom. He's number 30.
It's like
So it wouldn't be so fucking boring. Like at some point, I knew that okay, Cody's gonna come out and Cody's gonna win because it's like when you got a storyline like that for a guy as small as Cody Rhodes, not really small, but smaller than a lot of people that was in that Rumble. You know that something dramatic has to happen for those guys like Bobby, Braun Strowman, Omos, and Brock Lesnar to get eliminated. Drew McIntyre and the Sheamus, the big guys to get eliminated, right? So when I seen Brock was number 12, I was like, I'm happy, but this is weird. This is bizarre. Because when you look at the ring full of people, nobody can take him down. Sheamus, he's went through Sheamus. He went through Drew McIntyre. He went through everybody in that ring. Dominic Mysterio went through him. Then, of course, Bobby Lashley comes out next, and I said this makes sense. He was the spot to kind of throw him out because he fucked over Bobby on Monday Night Raw. It was just a payback thing. Brock wasn't really supposed to have any kind of impact in this Rumble. This is the quickest elimination he's ever been eliminated, besides the time that Goldberg came out. But even in the 2020 Royal Rumble, Brock eliminated like remember at one point Brock was the only one in the fucking ring with Paul Heyman with his title. Kept holding the title over his head and just throwing it. He broke a damn guitar over Elias. He threw Eric Rowan, all those dudes out of the ring. He had an impact in 2020, but that was really bizarre how they just used Brock as like a spot. Really just to set up Bobby. You know,
and there wasn't really, and it's really like any surprise that there wasn't really much
there was no legends really,
surprise.
but Booker T.
Yeah, Booker T was the only one surprised, but to me, that wasn't even entertaining. A surprise, like
Because
really,
we see him every if you watch NXT, Booker T is the fucking announcer.
and he was already on the kickoff show.
Yeah, he was already on the kickoff show.
So it's like, really,
And
him?
he looked like he was like so like, and I love Booker T. I'm not hating on Booker T, but the way he was limping to the ring, Book don't got it no more. Book should not be in the ring. Book was just doing this walk where he was doing one of those walks. I was like, what the fuck is up with Book's leg? Like Book is tired. Book should not be in this Rumble. Give this position to somebody else.
I just
Then
why that he just came in there, like. Really? Are you trying to prove something now? You are freaking old. Like,
and then I think he gets eliminated by Gunter or some shit, right?
yeah, but he right after he did his famous spin move, like, really? We're doing some circus dance in the ring now again?
Oh, the Spinneroonie.
Yeah, spin move, and then he just gets eliminated. It's like, well, hope you had your good 12 seconds of fame because you just got your ass.
Yeah, that made no sense. The Rey Mysterio thing, I get it. It was just Dominic trolling. So that was a use like number 17 was useless.
You think about that, right? Technically, there's only 28 superstars been eliminated last night. There was no that whole the Rey Mysterio 17 before Dom came out. The next Dom was 18.
Hmm.
Rey at 17, he never came out. So if you really think about it, nobody really won going on default
Hmm.
last night because there was never that. There was still one more opponent, and they never replaced anyone.
That is
With
true. I think they just kind of like basically use two spots. Dominic just used 17 and 18, and then they look at it from that perspective because basically they're using it as Dominic beat up Ray down, back behind the stage before his entrance and it just came out. That's kind of how like they presented it. But another thing is they didn't have any legends for this one. The men had no legends. Edge to me, he was just the last pay per view was at Extreme Rules before he got beat up by the Judgment Day. but Edge he's actively on the roster. That's not a surprise, interest for the Rumble.
No, yeah, he already had his surprise 2 years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago, like what 2021 Rumble, right?
When I think it was like 2021, 2020 around COVID.
When he still had long hair, yeah.
Yeah, when he had long hair, and that's when the whole Randy Orton thing, WrestleMania. So yeah, he had it, and I figured that he was gonna be back anyways, so it was no surprise. And the rest, like people that are coming back to the man, it's like, I knew this. Yeah, not really a difference.
I didn't like how some of the big guys got eliminated so fast. I didn't like how Omos got eliminated by Braun Strowman. I was actually expecting Omos to eliminate Braun Strowman, seeing that he already lost to Braun Strowman. So it would add more fuel to the fire, saying that, okay, you beat me at a pay per view, but I eliminate you in the Rumble. It's almost like they're burying Omos with this Braun Strowman. It's the biggest big man in the WWE, and I don't like that shit. I don't like the dynamic that they're doing with Braun Strowman. I get they feel sorry for firing him, but let's not give him this push to dominate Omos. Omos is the biggest dude in the WWE since the Big Show's gone. Since the Andre the Giant's era, Omos is literally the giant in the WWE. So you have to properly position him up to be this generation's Big Show. He can be, but you got to let him win. You got to let him shine a little bit because they're not letting him do that at all.
Well, I agree. Going to start another like rivalry between them.
They should. They
They don't
should.
match anyway, so that was it. So it wouldn't really count that much of a rivalry if they only interfered like a couple of times and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That was only I think a temporary short one, I would say, not like a full, like a long term, which that could have. It kind of that it should kind of happen, make it a long term. Because if you're gonna have like if they're gonna have like another rivalry set for Bobby and Brock, why just have another one for a longer term for Omos and Braun?
I mean, they might as well because Braun Strowman is Omos's like biggest like challenge, biggest threat to like I'm the alpha dog, the biggest guy in the WWE technically. The Big Show is not even he's too old for one, and he's in AEW. So different era. Taker is retired. Kane is retired. Now, if Omos was around 10, 15 years ago, he would have been in the era with the Undertakers and all the big dogs, the Kevin Nashes and all that shit. They could have challenged him. But now he's in the era where it's like it's not a lot of giants anymore.
You know,
It just makes sense to put him against a giant, you know.
well, there's only a few only big men right now.
Pretty much. And what the fuck was going on with this Drew McIntyre and Sheamus thing? Like, I get they're a part of his tag team and they're buddies now. They're doing that shit, but at one point they were like the longest two. Like one was in the Rumble for 39 minutes, the other one's in the Rumble for 50 minutes. Sheamus 50, I think Drew 39 minutes, right? The way they got eliminated, their whole point in Rumble is useless. Then they get eliminated like by Seth Rollins or like by Austin Theory or like Gunther or somebody like that. I think Seth just like threw them over or some shit. I believe somebody just threw them over, both of them at the same time, eliminated both of them at the same time. It was fucking useless. They really held their ground for 90% of that Rumble just to get thrown over. That was fucking stupid. That was fucking stupid to me.
It's
Like, and what the fuck was up with Kofi Kingston? At one point, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee was like, he got one foot on the chair. Is he eliminated or not?
yeah, I don't know. That was
Never came back to that.
he had one. Yeah,
He just sitting there one foot the whole time. One with that goddamn foot on the thing. I'm like, okay. At some point, he gonna do one of these dumb.
He just got fucking thrown out and he fucking just hit the table fucking hard.
He hit the table. And then I'm thinking, so I'm thinking that he gonna do one of these magic tricks or one of these acts that he does to get back in the Rumble, like he does every Rumble. I'm thinking, Xavier Woods is gonna like bounce the chair or roll him over or some shit, and they just like kind of have him at this awkward angle with one his foot on the fucking on the chair. And I'm like, are they ever gonna come back to that? Nope, they never come back to it. I guess he was fucking eliminated.
Yeah.
That was dumb. That was fucking. You could tell that was botched. I feel like that was set up for him to do one of those magic acts or some shit, but they either fucking forgot or it botched or something.
Yeah, it had to be botched.
That had to be a botch because you could tell they set that up for him to do one of those amazing acts to to insert himself back in the Rumble, Kofi Kingston style, so to speak. You know what I mean? That was weird that they never came back to that. And like once upon a time ago, like a long time ago, like when you have guys like Bobby Lashley, Batista, Brock Lesnar in the Rumble, they kind of got to last until like the end of the Rumble. But we're in the era now where like guys like Seth Rollins eliminated Bobby Lashley. Like to me, that's not believable. It's not believable for like a like if it takes Bobby Lashley to eliminate Brock Lesnar, then it takes an Omos to eliminate a Bobby Lashley. You can't have a guy like Seth Rollins just throw Bobby over the fucking rope. You can't. It's not fucking believable.
Weird.
It's almost like this Rumble was just set up for Cody to just win. This was the most, and people. What pisses me off is the 2015 Royal Rumble is now erased to me in terms of like people's negative reviews and negative thoughts. Oh, the Royal Rumble 2015 was set up for Roman Reigns to win. The Rock practically saved him and gave him the Rumble. That's what you just did in 2023 for Cody Rhodes. You practically told everybody on commercial promos for the past 2 fucking weeks that he was gonna win the Rumble. He literally said when he came back, I'm only coming back to be champion. He had one of the best reactions in WrestleMania history to come back. When
Yeah.
when you saw that commercial, the first thing that came to your mind was Cody's winning this bitch.
That's pretty much
Because Roman has already squashed everybody on the fucking roster. So who else is gonna win?
well, at least one. And I don't know, but there's a thing. There was a difference between Cody's uh, making Cody win to Roman is Cody had like a commercial promos about it.
Mhm.
There was no thing, so
There was
technically
no thing.
never knew technically that day that The Rock was going to come out and help.
Nobody knew that. And the reason why people are so pissed because I think people either all wanted Rusev to win or Bray Wyatt. I believe Bray Wyatt or Rusev was like the last. I think it was Rusev. I believe was like Rusev and Bray Wyatt was like the last 2 people in that 2015 Rumble, and everybody wanted them to win because nobody liked Roman Reigns because everybody thought he was a corporate John Cena wannabe at that time. So when Roman won that Royal Rumble, people were pissed. And that's how Roman got so much heat and nobody liked him from that point on. That 2015 Royal Rumble really fucked his career up. Now his career is fine. But from 2015 until the Tribal Chief era, that's why they hated him. But they just did the same thing to Cody Rhodes. We knew he was coming back. We knew he was going to win. So it's like everything that happened in between time was fucking, it was pointless. To me, this was the worst Royal Rumble in a long time. The worst Royal Rumble. And of course, I'm a WWE fan, so I watched it and I enjoyed the product. I enjoyed the wrestling that was in the match. I enjoyed. It was enjoyable, but it was to me, it's the worst. This is not my top 10 Rumbles. This is for the men. It was this. This is one of the worst men's Royal Rumble because we knew who was going to win. We knew.
But then you could say almost the same thing, close to the same thing as the woman.
Now with the women's Royal Rumble, I think I even said I went on record. I said Rhea Ripley's either gonna win. I said this last week. Rhea Ripley's gonna win, or Raquel. What's her name?
Raquel Rodriguez, right?
I literally said that. I said it's gonna be one or the other,
Yeah,
and then Rhea Ripley wins it. I mean, I mean, to me, I started thinking like it makes sense for Rhea to win because she could refuel her rivalry with Bianca Belair. Let's not forget Bianca Belair beat her and took her title, her Raw Women's title. Remember, Rhea Ripley was the Raw Women's Champion.
Yeah.
Bianca beat her, then Becky beat Bianca. That's how this shit started. But Bianca became champion in the first place from beating Rhea Ripley. And in Bianca's first title run, that only lasted 3 fucking seconds. She beat Rhea Ripley. Rhea was the fucking champion. That's when like damn near everybody from that NXT era was getting titles. And that's when they was pushing everybody to have a title.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a given. Well, at
And
least I think Bianca Belair beat Rhea Ripley for the title. I believe she did.
well, the first time,
Mm-hmm.
the first title match,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Cause she been in the main event twice in WrestleMania. The first time, cause she won the Royal Rumble, she ended up facing Sasha Banks for the title.
Bianca?
Yeah, and Bianca won against Sasha. And then
Who did Rhea Ripley lose her belt to?
it,
Because when
no,
she was,
I think it had been um had yeah
because I for some reason I felt like it was Bianca.
I think yes I think it had been
Didn't like Bianca like get traded at one point to SmackDown? Some shit happened where they switched belts. Somebody switched belts or some shit. Remember?
Bianca's on. I think Bianca's on SmackDown,
She was.
and I think they switched it.
They switched it, and then Rhea Ripley got beat by Bianca because
And
Becky was a SmackDown Women's Champion because she beat her, and then Rhea lost her belt she lost the belt to Bianca, I believe.
yeah, because I think it was supposed to be Sasha. I think it was supposed to be when Bianca was doing that in that SummerSlam the year ago. I think it was supposed to be Sasha that was supposed to be facing her for the title, but she never came out.
Mhm.
And Becky came out and ended up taking it.
That's why Sasha and Naomi had so much heat because that tag team shit that they gave Naomi and Sasha was just basically to get them involved in something because to WWE creative it made more sense to push Bianca over Sasha. That's when Sasha started. That's when they did that walkout shit. And I did read somewhere that Naomi was actually supposed to come back, for Raw 30, and she didn't come back neither. I read that Naomi was thinking about a WWE return, reuniting with the WWE, and I also read that Mandy could possibly return. Now that to me, Mandy's not going to return until at least after Mania, if she ever returns. But Naomi, to me, she has a stronger possibility to return because her husband is still in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So she has a strong possibility to return at some point. But Sasha Banks is in New Japan Pro Wrestling, whatever it's called. New
Yeah,
Japan Wrestling.
New World Japan something in
Yeah,
Japan.
it's no disrespect to that, but I'm a WWE fan. I watch AEW too, but me and Cody really don't know about New Japan Pro Wrestling
I don't know, man, but it's
because it comes on at an awkward time. Like it come on like 2 a.m. for us because China and Asia's on the other side of the world. So when they watching shit at like 2 p.m. for them, it's like 2 a.m. for us. It's kind of like when the Olympics. You ever seen when the Olympics at an awkward time where like the Olympics on at 2 a.m. and you're like, damn, I gotta stay up and watch this fucking basketball game. It's kind of how it is with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
yeah, they're tired. It's just 24 hours. Like I had like behind us is still.
Sasha's making more money per appearance than any New Japan. Yeah, that is true. She is. I did read that. Sasha is making more money. She is. And at first, I didn't think that that was gonna work because at first I didn't think New Japan, those fans really knew her, like in terms of like her WWE persona. But it works, and I like it. It's cool, you know. But yeah, I do think Rhea did drop her belt to Bianca. I believe she did when Rhea Ripley was champion because Rhea Ripley's run was so short that a lot of people don't even remember that she was champion. Because
Yeah,
think about it, right afterward, they just threw her the tag team titles. They started putting her with that crazy bitch. What's her name? That one that thought she was a fucking
hey,
superhero.
oh, Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross. Because remember when Rhea lost her title, they just put her in the tag team division for a little while. They kind of
And yeah,
stretched her.
tagged in with Nikki for a bit. They won the tag team titles.
Hmm.
Had a short run with that, and then that's when Nikki ended up turning.
Nikki ended up turning, and then a little bit later, they just basically put Rhea Ripley, with the Judgment Day because it made a lot of sense for the Judgment Day. It made a lot of sense, and I'm glad they did that for Rhea Ripley because I didn't want her to be one of those talents that just kind of like went to waste on the card, basically. Because they do that shit with a lot of people, just have them put on the shelf or send her back to NXT because they don't know what to do with her, similar to what they did to Mandy Rose. You know, but the women's Royal Rumble, to me, it wasn't as predictable as the men's Rumble. I'm satisfied with who won the women's Royal Rumble. I am. I'm satisfied. I'm glad that Rhea's getting the push that she deserves once again, because it was kind of like, taken right away from her. Are you looking up who she lost her belt to?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta know who she lost her belt to because I really feel like she lost her belt to Bianca Belair. I don't know why I feel like it was Bianca Belair, but I think it was. It had to have been somebody of that nature because I do know that didn't because Becky ended up switching belts and became the Raw. Yeah, because Becky became the Raw Women's Champion because she switched belts with Charlotte, right? Or some shit like that. And then that's when the rivalry picked up again with Bianca because Bianca got traded to Raw, I believe. And Becky needed to go to Raw or some shit. I don't know how that happened. I forget how it went down.
Yeah.
To that degree, they swapped belts or some shit. Right now, guys, we just looking up who did Rhea Ripley drop her Raw Women's Championship to. Cody's actually looking that up right now because I need to know who 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 she dropped it to.
That was huge. It said like yeah, during I've had to be 2021, so it might be okay. Okay, so it, on the 28th of uh not 20th, the 18th of July of like 21,
Mm.
Money in the Bank, Rhea Ripley it says Rhea dropped the title to Flair, ending her
Charlotte Flair.
ending ending her 90-day reign, and then it just said she failed to regain the title in a triple threat match against the champion, and then the whole Nikki H and Flair at SummerSlam in August. So yeah, so apparently
Charlotte Flair. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I thought it was Bianca Belair. Maybe because she was the Raw Women's Champion, but it was Charlotte Flair. Because remember, yeah, that makes more sense now because Becky switched belts with Charlotte, remember, and became the Raw Women's Champion. Because
yeah,
Becky beat
yeah.
Bianca for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You know,
Did America have 9-1 coming? What?
huh?
I don't understand that.
Yeah, that is weird. Basically trolling 9/11, saying did America have 9/11 coming when the airplanes hit the buildings, basically.
That's
Basically trolling 9/11. It's just
really,
dumb shit like that.
this is not. We're not talking about 9/11 here, okay? We're talking about WWE and the WWE stuff.
Yeah. But
We don't.
yeah, anyway, yeah, it's just yeah, I knew that that's what happened. Had to be Flair again. Do you guys think they're shoving? No, I don't. I think Charlotte Flair, and a lot of people disagree with how I feel about Charlotte Flair. When you actually look at Charlotte Flair, she is the best female wrestler, the best technical female wrestler on the roster. I do think it is ironic that she is Ric Flair's daughter, and she will be the woman to like hold his record in terms of 16 championships. Of course, I do feel like that. I think the irony with who her father is, it kind of just like, okay, you guys are shoving it down her throat, but she is who's the person to be champion more than she is. You know what I mean? She's the best female wrestler in my opinion. To me, if she wrestled in that era with Trish Stratus and Lita, she would dominate that era too. Because if you actually watch, I'm not saying that you don't, but for anybody who actually watched wrestling, she's actually a better technical wrestler than Lita and Trish Stratus. You know, to me, she's the best technical wrestler that we've seen in the WWE as a female. So it only makes sense for her to be the champion. You know what I'm saying? She's a pay-per-view draw. It just makes sense. Why not? Like for example, I feel like Charlotte is getting the heat that Cena got at one point. Why is Cena always the WWE champion back in the spinning belt era? Because it made sense. It just makes sense for business. Cena was not the best wrestler though, but Cena just made sense. He had the most charisma. He had the best promos. He had the best mic skills. He had the best thing going. Cena was like the best thing going since Hogan at one point. So it just made sense. And for the women's division, Charlotte is like the best thing going.
Yeah.
Like since the OG era with the Trish Stratuses of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Because both
To me, she has already surpassed those people.
just have that. They just have that type of character, like they can just draw in audience.
Mm-hmm.
The WWE, it's like, like Charlotte Flair champion. Well, we gotta watch this. Oh, John Cena. They post John Cena commercial, or John Cena's come back. Yeah, we gotta watch this.
I think people tend to forget how push down our throats John Cena was too. Like I grew up. I'm 27 years old, so I grew up in the era of Cena and how much people fucking hated Cena because he was always champion. I never liked the John Cena either. I was a Randy Orton fan. I always wanted Orton to be champion, but somehow we call him Super Cena, pulled it out. AA ended the match, getting his hand raised, throwing up this whatever.
Yeah.
Cena survived. So I think it's only right, for a woman to experience that too. I'm not saying that Charlotte has the same impact of Cena because Cena is fucking Cena. No, but
close is close enough, right? As she can be to the whole John Cena thing.
I am glad that Charlotte Flair, they have a female that can like have some entertaining matches like that are better than some of the men's matches. Like I always ask people, you don't like Charlotte Flair, right? That's cool. Charlotte Flair's pushing down each other's throats. That's cool. But is her matches bad? Does she entertain you? Is she a good wrestler? Because if she is a bad wrestler, I agree. If Charlotte Flair was
No,
if she was a subpar wrestler, she was not a good wrestler at all, I'd be like, okay, get her the fuck out of here. You're Ric Flair's daughter. That's why you're a champion. But literally, Charlotte Flair is champion because she's great. That's why. She just happened to be Ric's daughter.
It's just a name. But
It's just her name, yeah. It's her name.
She's her own.
I've been watching wrestling since the 80s. Super Cena was the top merchandise seller during this time. Charlotte would have definitely blown away the female. Yeah, I agree. You've been watching wrestling longer than me, my friend. So That's good to have somebody on the channel. I started watching wrestling, I think, when I was like 4 or 5 in '99. So of course I didn't get to see that golden era of wrestling. I got to see the end of the Attitude Era, beginning of Ruthless Aggression. So I watched wrestling from '99 until now. So that's my knowledge of actually watching it. But I do think you're right. She would have dominated back then because, like, how can I put it? Females back then weren't really wrestlers. They were just like, most of them were all models.
Just like just
Who,
a model you things. Like
yeah,
they would
they were found through Diva Search. Like most of the divas back then were found through modeling. Diva Search was modeling in bikinis and shit. Lita was found through Diva Search. Trish Stratus was found through Diva Search. You know what I mean? They were found modeling. So they were models who were taught to wrestle because Vince wanted you to look like a Playboy bunny at one point. The image was everything for Vince for you to be a female superstar. You know what I'm saying? So that era, Charlotte would have dominated that era because she was a wrestler first. Charlotte is the first, to me, Charlotte is the first female superstar that gives you that sense that I'm a wrestler before model. You never got that feeling from anybody from the past. You said model first. When you see Tori Wilson, Playboy Bunny, then wrestler. When you see Sable, Playboy Bunny, then wrestler. When you see Trish Stratus, you say Playboy Bunny, then wrestler, but she's the greatest wrestler of her time. And then you see Lita, well, you say the girl next door. No, not really. She's the girl that you want, but you don't want to bring home the mom. She sold that very well. The rock star girl. She
the
sold it well.
one
But
fucking girl that you kind of you end up fucking watching on a fucking movie and those skit scenes with her and Edge and that one dead scene. They're in the ring.
yeah, so like you always got this model like adult star vibe from everybody. China, and I'm not forgetting China at all. China was just a big ass woman. She was strong. But China, if you watch China, she was not a technical wrestler. China was the first like powerhouse. She broke down the barriers that women can like, be as strong as the men. And I give China her flowers too. She was a force to be reckoned with. She needs way more recognition. And I think because of China, there needs to be a female intercontinental championship. And I think Cody agree on that. They need a mid card championship for the women.
Yeah,
They need a mid card title. They need to make a women's United States championship and a women's intercontinental championship.
yeah,
It makes sense because you got people on the card that's kind of like out of place, similar to like where the men are at, right? You got the Seth Rollins and the Bobby Lashley's and the Austin Theories that are out of place because both of the world titles are like, with Roman. And you got a lot of women that are out of place. Like Liv Morgan is kind of out of place right now. But if Liv Morgan was the United States champion for the women, it would make sense. It would keep her like, getting her a push or whatnot. And I think the women need a mid card title. They really do. That's the last thing that they need to do for the Divas division, give them a mid card championship.
and
Similar to what they've done. They did that in AEW. The AEW women got a mid card championship. They got a women's AEW championship and a women's TNT championship. I believe a TBS champion or some shit. But it's a mid card title for the women.
like I agree. They should definitely do that. Like have just if you're gonna have like both world heavyweight titles, man, both like tag teams, and you're gonna have like the mid card, Intercontinental States. Make that those two for the women. So the women's already got tag and a world heavyweight title, both brands. So where's the mid card for them?
They definitely need a mid card championship.
Because it makes sense that somebody like you said, Liv Morgan.
The era of training models to be wrestlers was awful. Are you familiar with the promotion Shimmer Women Athlete and a lot of top women in WWE? I'm actually not familiar with that. And now I did see that they do have a show like just for women wrestlers, but I am not familiar with Shimmer Women Athletes. No, I'm not. I'm not familiar with that at all. But I do agree with what you said. The turning model into wrestler era was horrible. It was the worst era because it almost gave you a sense that women were shitty wrestlers, and they weren't. They were just the WWE was not actually looking for real wrestlers. And I think the real wrestler that they had was Jacqueline. Jacqueline, the black lady, was actually a real wrestler. They turned her into a manager, basically, to escort people to the ring. If you show any signs of like being able to really wrestle, they turned you into a manager, escorting the guys to the ring. I think she was escorting like fucking Scott Steiner to the ring or some shit because she could actually wrestle. So yeah, I do agree with that. Turning the model into wrestler era was boring. It was really awful, and I don't even remember any women of the '80s. And if you, the thing about the '80s and the '90s, right? And I don't even think Cody knows this because we never talked about this. The women was not guaranteed a match. There would be 1 week the women would fight, and then 2 weeks later the women would continue their rivalry. I remember these two. One women had a rivalry in the '90s, right? On one episode of Monday Night Raw, and then the next week they didn't have a follow up match. Then a week later they had a follow up match because they had time for it or some shit. But that's how the '90s went. Women didn't really have a spot on the fucking card unless it was taking their clothes off, fighting in gravy. Like, unless Vince was seeing
Yeah.
some hits,
Yeah, bikinis. Let's find this pool full of fucking gravy bullshit or whatever, chocolate or anything.
Vince was promoting every failed Playboy bunny. Not even failed because Sable sold out a lot of Playboy magazines. I don't know if she was top selling in WWE, but she probably was. But it's like Vince was like calling Hugh Hefner saying like, "Hey, you got anybody that can take a couple bumps? Sure, I'll send you some big titty blondes, Vince. Sure, sure, Vince, sure." It's like Hugh was just sending him to Vince, and he was just like teaching him how to wrestle somewhat, or teaching him somewhat promo skills, and saying, "Hey, you could be a wrestler. I throw a belt on you, give you some big titties. Hey, you're a wrestler." That was Vince, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna practice a couple moves, but you're really just gonna wrestle another female in a nice bikini. You gotta make sure you look fucking hot and sex to the audience. Go, woo!
And yeah, and somehow Vince needs some type of storyline with you to make it seem like he's cheating on Linda McMahon. Because think about it, every blonde was in some type of entanglement with Vince at some point. Trish Stratus had a storyline where she was supposedly sleeping with Vince. Fucking Sable had a storyline where she was supposedly sleeping with Vince. I think Stacy Keibler had some storyline where she was supposedly sleeping with Vince. All the top talent had a storyline where they was actually sleeping with Vince, which to now standards, even then it was gross, but it's just weird.
Oh man. So how that's still normal? Old people. I don't know how old people date young girls, or these young girls think it's just you know what? It's all right. I'll fucking date this 60-year-old man.
Creepy Vince. Check out Shimmer's YouTube channel. They have full matches on there. You'll be shocked to see who all came through there. I'm actually going to check that out. Let me look at the live chat again. It's called Shimmer's YouTube channel. I'm actually really going to check that out. Thanks for telling me about that, though. But yeah, so let me ask you this, Cody. In the last, I would say 15, 20 minutes of our podcast, what do you think is going to happen with the winners of the Rumble? Do you think Cody's actually going to beat Roman? And if Cody beats Roman, I'm asking you a couple questions. If Cody beats Roman, I know you will be disappointed. Will you be disappointed in the sense that Roman lost his championship? Or will you be disappointed in the sense where it's like the bloodline is the best thing going and now the shit is boring again because Cody is not as entertaining as a bloodline?
Pretty much. I could be a little disappointed, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I could more disappointed the whole bloodline thing. I just but I don't know. They see even like from Monday to last night. I'm so different theories, thoughts, emotions going on right now. Like you take the fucking Monday the court, right? Roman wanted to eliminate Sammy right there.
Mm-hmm.
It stopped him. They, then okay, fine. do something to make the bloodline proud Monday. That's finish up. I don't want to see you until Royal Rumble. So he did. He helped retain the champion tag team for them. It was a storyline to that.
Because Jimmy supposedly hurt himself.
Yeah, I don't know that's what. So, and then you see him at the beginning of SmackDown talking to Jay, like, "Hey," and she's like, "You're not supposed to be here. Direct orders from the tribal chief." Like, I know. That's why I'm not going there. I'm simming no toe. I appreciate what you did on Monday. And it's like, no problem. I got you. No, I got you. You need anything, you let me know. Later in the show, you see Adam Pearce kicks the Usos out, and Jimmy goes in the car, and Jay pulls out the phone, goes, "Yo, my dog, you still in town? I need a favor." All right, and then ends up, and then during the solo match, you see Sammy come out and kind of help. So, but he ends up getting super kicked in the face by so, and then that ended, and there was I ended up watching. I had to watch on YouTube because I missed them for the kickoff. But there was a promo. They were in the locker room, and like, I specifically told you, give one instruction to not come and SmackDown, and you're like, that was on me, child. I told him to come out. He did it for the family. He Adam kicked us out, so Solo was going to go on alone. He's your family. So why don't we talk about it? So I want. Then he said, stick to my hips, okay? Because I before like after seeing that, I was watching a little bit of an interview because Sammy had like the day, just like the day before before SmackDown happened,
Mm-hmm.
interview with I don't even know whose podcast it's someone's podcast or someone interview, and he was telling the whole. He said I've seen him hear him talking about once before, but he was telling the whole storyline or the ideals like of him and Roman coming together uh, and joining the bloodline because it was a whole. They actually ended up doing the whole storyline together. It was
Mm-hmm.
right after the whole Johnny, actually before the Johnny. I think John Knoxon and this they had this and they were doing that, but he never. He was talking about he never had when Vince was ended up being creative. He never had any screen time with Roman until that month. They were Montreal for SmackDown, and the Usos couldn't get across the border because of DOI and stuff. Plus, Paul Heyman. That was when they fought. I think Triple H was starting to be creative, and Vince was backing down. And that's pretty much when he was saying that. That's when I finally got screen time with Roman, and then do the whole of screen time with Sammy, like defending the bloodline, taking bullets, and then to saying and then it's just right at the end you were saying they were talking about would you see it yourself as the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
A champion. He goes like, no. Do I see myself maybe being the champion? He said yes, but do I see myself like being the face of the company, like Roman or John Cena and them? No. And he was talking about how that and him probably facing Roman for the title. I've heard like people talking about maybe maybe it's going to be doing that at the Elimination Chamber, which is his hometown. So like that's another whole talk that, or him team up with Owen. And then, so at the end of like last night, I knew exactly he was going to turn on Roman. It is a given even before, but it made you if people didn't think he was going to turn it. There was one point of that match segment at the end when Roman gave him the chair and he was just pushing him like do something, pull the trigger, do it, hit Roman, do it. And Roman, if you ever look, he kept walking back towards Owen with his
Mm-hmm.
back behind. that was a single. It's like, like there's a story like he like hit me like that. Fucking pull the triggers like hit me. What you end up doing, and that all sets up the whole thing of betraying. Well, I Jimmy was like the Usos can't believe it. Like Jimmy like was the biggest the whole storyline, biggest Sammy fan.
Mm-hmm.
He was always until that last night, and this boom super ends up super kicking. So did his move, and then you see in the corner, uh, Jay just staring like um first he's staring at Sammy, wondering what the heck just happened, and he leaves. But I don't know if you watched the face of Jay last night when as soon as he got out of the ring, he just looked at Roman with like this anger, disgust on his face, and left. Like
I did see that.
you would think that the moment if he saw Sammy like in a train, you would think Jay would end up going attacking him. And like, I knew it. I knew you as universe to be trusted. I knew it. And it's like he just walked off. So I have a feeling that there's three things. Sami Zayn is gonna um face Roman for the title, probably at Montreal.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense.
Um, and those are between that. Um, yeah, Jey Uso can end up like teaming up with Sammy, and and like I said, kind of like betraying the bloodline, and even his brother. Let's say he or convinces Jimmy to join and goes back because they were never. He never really. And you can actually, if you look back and see it, even before that whole thing with Jimmy told said that um, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief said. That almost like you watch that's like sparked the start like Jimmy Uso. It was like Jimmy Uso, but Jey Uso was kind of um, moving out, like kind of wanted out of the bloodline, wanted to actually be his own, not be controlled.
But
It's that's why I could see. Or the only other thing is, and I hope it doesn't happen, because it would be the stupidest thing. I saying Jimmy's doing a trip line, and he and Kevin Owens are going to team up for the and take on the Usos for the tag team. Yeah, I can see what that happens. This is what's going to happen. If that the moment either they win or lose that tag team match, Owens going to turn on Sammy like he always done. Every storyline with it's always Kevin Owens turning on Sammy or power on something like that. It's the same bloody thing. Happen every time. So if they wanted the Sammy Owens tag team, they should have done it years ago.
yeah, they said it done years ago, but they always piss on the opportunity to do it.
And so it's just dumb if they do it now because it's just going to be a whole betray thing at the end.
But the one thing that a lot of people is not looking at, and that I'm starting to see, I'm starting to feel like they're trying to show cracks in the bloodline. So when Cody beats Roman at WrestleMania, there is no bloodline to go back to be the most entertaining thing on the show because they're trying to like not erase the bloodline, but like basically like if somehow Sammy if somehow somebody loses the championship, the first time anybody in the bloodline loses a championship, I know Cody's gonna win at WrestleMania. Because the bloodline has this persona that we're unbeatable. Like this superhero persona that we can't lose. We got all the gold, right? So the moment somebody loses the title, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, it is over. Cody's gonna win this shit. It's done. So I always watched the tag match. I didn't used to watch tag matches because I never really liked tag team matches. I never really was a fan of tag team matches until the Usos. So when the Usos put the titles on the line, I always get nervous now because I'm like, if they lose their titles, it's almost guaranteed Roman's gonna lose, and people don't look at it from that perspective. But Roman, because if they do lose, Roman is gonna be like, "You lost your titles." Probably turn on them both. Probably as the enforcer to beat one of them up. It's
Yeah.
gonna be Roman and the enforcer to attack Jimmy and Jay. They go back babyface, team up with Kevin and Sami Zayn. Roman's character is now vulnerable now because he has no bloodline. Basically, he fucking loses to Cody Rhodes, and that's it. Roman leaves for a while because Roman was champion for what 2 years.
2.5 years, so you lose.
So you can't be champion for 2 years and fucking just stick around. You're going to leave. When Brock Lesnar has long reigns, what does he do? He leaves.
Leaves.
When Cena has long reigns, what does Cena does? He leaves for a little. No, Cena's the only one that didn't leave. But typically, the new trend is now I'm champion for like when CM Punk was champion for a long time. What did he do? He shaved his fucking head. He turned heel. He left. And he started trolling the Undertaker with Paul Bear's ashes. But my point is, when you're champion for a long time, you leave. So what I'm saying is, as nice as it would be for Cody Rhodes to be the champion, it's gonna hurt like the audience and the viewership because a lot of people only tune back in because of the bloodline storyline. That's why I did. I was getting to the point where I was like, oh, this shit is boring. I'm tired of seeing fucking Drew McIntyre as champion. Drew McIntyre is boring.
It's
He's a
just
great wrestler, but he's boring. I got tired of the Drew McIntyres and the Braun Strowmans, and at one point, Vince was giving everybody a title shot.
That's like it just got boring, and you're thinking even the woman thing is like, Manny's there. The only other thing you think for me is like, it ain't gonna be Roman in the bloodline. Entertain watching Lexa. They haven't done nothing in that either. So it's like the only thing to me entertaining is the whole
The
segment with
bloodline.
and even when Sam's in it, it's still entertaining because you never know what each night is. Or is he gonna? Are they gonna not? Is he gonna be full blown? Is he gonna turn on the bloodline? Is he? Are they gonna turn on him? Or who's gonna do this? That it was always you never knew unless you were said, but it was just really entertaining, and people were always like glued to that. Their the bloodline, every segment they had, you never much of a cheer like anybody else in
Yeah,
it.
the tribal chief has gotten like the character is so good that even if you don't like him, you're going to be pissed off when he loses his championship because it's like I was even telling you, right? If they wanted Cody Rhodes to come back to be champion, they should not have merged the titles. Cody Rhodes should be
No,
the WWE champion, and Roman should just be the Universal champion. Brock Lesnar, I told you when it happened. Brock Lesnar opening his big mouth saying, Roman, put your title on the line versus mine. That whole storyline where Bobby gets injured, shit, that's how it started. Bobby gets injured. Brock replaced him. Brock becomes champion. Brock was already feuding with Roman. And then it's like, okay, let's merge the titles. That was the dumbest shit they could possibly do because now a lot of major, talent on Raw has no title. So now basically the United States champion is basically a stretch heavyweight now. It's basically a stretch heavyweight championship for the guys on the card that they don't know what the fuck to do with. Like they don't really know what to do with Austin Theory now because they merged the titles. They don't know what to do with Seth Rollins. They don't know what to do with Bobby Lashley. So they have to give them the United States championship. It's basically like the shut the fuck up, here's a title championship right now. Until whatever happened to Roman happens. But they should have just kept one belt on fucking Raw. Roman don't need all the titles. Whoever wrote that into the storyline was fucking stupid. Because Cody Rhodes could definitely be champion. And the bloodline can what I'm saying is it'll be more beneficial to the bloodline long term because the bloodline can still go on. Roman can still have his title, and everybody else on Raw can have their own championship too. Cody could be on Raw, Roman could be on SmackDown, and it never intertwines. For the people who only watching for Roman, like me and you, just
it
makes more sense.
doesn't. So it's like, yeah, I was stupid. but even more stupid is these like theories. Like I said, what happened was one of them. Like I, it would have been one if they fucking broke you. But if they're going to break, in my opinion, I would like to see one of the members like turn on Roman, not the whole, not Sammy. I don't
Yeah,
count.
not Sammy. Not
I don't,
fucking Sammy.
I don't count him. He was just he joined, but it was his thing in the storyline. He was saying was never going to be full term.
Yeah, just like how D Brown just said earlier, Sammy was only supposed to be a 3 week thing, and then they were supposed to cut that. But I think some shit. I think I read some shit about Saudi Arabia. The reaction that he got in Saudi, and the reaction that he was getting from the crowd, was too like loud to ignore. So they had to make him like an honorary oos, so to speak, based off the reaction. I did read that somewhere on Instagram. I think I watched a video on YouTube about that shit, on how Sammy was not supposed to be a part of the bloodline long term, just for 3 weeks. That is true.
It was a short, but yeah, it's like I said, it just he doesn't. It doesn't count. It would only count if like Jay or Jimmy end up turning
Hmm.
on, and the person that would do it mostly is Jay.
Hmm.
Jay's one that'll turn, and I can't easily see that happening because I feel like depending on what the promo will be on Monday, I feel like Roman's gonna probably they're gonna start the uh, whole promo on Raw, come out, they'll talk about Sami Zayn, that bastard betrayed, and then he'll turn probably on Jay, like, so what was your issue? You'll probably ask, and the whole thing will like he'll probably say it is defense, and I think Sammy coming out Monday challenging Roman, getting in the ring, and they're all fighting, and that's either two things. Jay's gonna find a ways and just tax it, or he's gonna super kick his one of his brothers in the face.
And I got a feeling that the whole dynamic in wrestling is going to turn to this Cody Rhodes calling out Roman. Cody's either going to come out tonight or on SmackDown. I think to make it more personal, he should come out on SmackDown and call out Roman. And then that's how that's going to start. But I just got this feeling that he's going to lose to Cody Rhodes. And it's a shitty feeling. It's a bittersweet feeling because just like how we predicted, I don't want this to be one of those things where like we can predict. I don't want like that was boring. The dumbest shit the WWE ever did was Cody Rhodes is returning. Oh, he's winning the Rumble. As soon as I seen that fucking commercial, I knew he was winning the Rumble. I was like, I ain't interested in that. I'll wait for the women's Rumble. Fuck it. They spoiled it for me. Fuck it. Everything else was just set up for Cody to win. I'm not against Cody Rhodes, but I've never was a Cody Rhodes fan. Even when I never really was like, even when he was in Legacy, even when he had his first run with the company, to me, he's in his prime. He's done great, but to me, he's still Cody Rhodes. He's still Cody Rhodes that was in Legacy, in my opinion. He just went to AEW. The best thing for Cody Rhodes' career was AEW, but I'm not a fan of him. And that's fair for me to say. I'm just not a fan. So him beating Roman just makes no sense. Seeing that Edge couldn't do it,
Tom,
Cena couldn't do it, Goldberg couldn't do it, Drew McIntyre couldn't do it. You know,
Brock,
if Drew couldn't do it,
Brock,
to me, if Drew failed, what the fuck makes Cody any different?
yeah, but listen, okay, obviously, okay, he wins it, right? Roman's off TV, the blood will start breaking out, off TV, and then you got Cody Rhodes for a champion for a bit, and then they'll probably stick him in a match against Drew McIntyre, or Bobby Lashley,
Some shit and loses it. See,
or
that's my thing. If,
lose.
if Cody does beat Roman, he's not going to be champion for 2 fucking years. So it's almost like, okay, Roman broke all these records just to lose to a guy that's going to lose his belt in 2 months, or maybe one tops,
Yeah,
to Sheamus or Drew McIntyre or to probably Roman again.
it'll probably be like Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, right? And then it'll go from there, and then it'll go the next guy, and until Roman comes back. and then the moment that Roman comes back again,
It's
he'll
over.
he'll take the title again. It's over. He's gonna be on another reign, and he'll be in another group of you born.
And not to mention, it's not believable for Cody Rhodes to be double champion. That's that's only believable for Roman's character to be the ultimate champion, so to speak. To me, that ultimate champion persona is only good for Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar. They can have both belts, but Cody's character is not believable to basically hold both brands hostage as the ultimate champion. That's not believable. So to me, they have to separate the belts again. They have to separate those belts at some point with Cody because Cody's character is not believable enough to have both fucking titles. Roman, yeah, that's how good the bloodline is. It's good for Roman to hold both brands hostage and say, "Hey, I'm the champion." There has not been a world champion and not been a universal champion in over 2 years since Roman, and then like almost what a year for the WWE. It's like you can't top that. You can't. You just can't top that. And I was never a Roman fanboy, but I am a fan of what he is doing. It's the best thing going around. I've always was the Brock and Randy guy. I'm Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton fan. You're the Roman fan, so I know this is great for you, but I think it's great for business for Roman too. It's very entertaining. I can be the first to admit this is the best thing in wrestling right now. But here's the thing: if Cody doesn't win, everybody's gonna be pissed off. Oh, Cody won the Rumble. He came back from blah 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 just to lose.
And
But it's almost like he has to win.
and if he loses, okay, what is he doing now? Is he gonna what? You gonna send him to a mid card championship too?
Because it's like back in the day, the mid card championships. Let's not forget the real reason Roman has been champion for so long is the hope that having the Rock versus. Hold on, let me read that because that disappeared too quick. Let's not forget the real reason Roman has been champion for so long is the hope of having the Rock versus Roman at Mania. Unfortunately, Rock's schedule is full of Cody. It's a backup plan. That is true. I have been hearing for years now that it's going to be Roman versus Rock. Now, we said this. That's believable.
And it's funny. That's everybody who's been talking about the thing. They even at the press conference, like, when's Rock coming back? When is Rock gonna be getting ready to face Roman? It was the whole speculation before Cody Rhodes ended up coming back, and his speculation and same thing. It was always WrestleMania. Next, Rock.
It's always WrestleMania.
Rock.
But Rock's schedule is always like he can't do it. But my thing is like at this point, I'm okay with another Samoan in the bloodline taking down the tribal chief. If it's The Rock, I'm fine with that. I ain't got nothing to say. That's cool. Then Roman can be champion again. But what I'm saying is at this point, Roman's character is so strong that it can't be Cody who take the bloodline down. It has to be The Rock. It has to be the OG. It has to be the true tribal chief. They gonna say the OG that kind of opened the door for the Samoan bloodline. You know what I'm saying? That is fucking believable. I would take that, but I can't take Cody Rhodes.
It has to be someone in the family member.
It has to be somebody in the family to take him out. That's how the mafia is. They kind of like got this mafia ties. It's always the family that turns on each other. Oh, you passed the bloodline to the family to be the next mob boss or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's like people forgot that Rock is in the same bloodline with these guys.
Well, it's like it just makes sense, but it's like right now it's like almost like that's almost like down the road or impossible because it's like his schedule is so busy and truly Roman he said he was not in shape.
Well, I read somewhere that
Triple H made fun.
I read somewhere that it took Rock 2 years to like film Black Adam. And think about it, Black Adam was on hold for so long. The Rock dedicated a lot of shit for Black Adam. We started hearing about Black Adam, 2018, 2017. So The Rock was so dedicated to this Black Adam shit, and it really started picking up in 2020. The Rock said somewhere in an interview that Black Adam kind of like was the reason why he was not available to wrestle because everything he was pouring into was into Black Adam. And now that is finished, I do believe that Rock should be able to wrestle Roman. This Cody Rhodes shit, I think Cody should lose and then The Rock should come back.
That's it. That's what it should happen. In the next pay after WrestleMania, Rock should be Rock. After WrestleMania, Rock should come like on the night after, on the Monday when WrestleMania is done, and he should come out when Roman does a promo. I retain the championship, Cody. That's when he should come out and confront Roman. And yeah, you haven't beaten me, so I want to face you for the title at the next pay per view, or whatever big pay per view, whatever pay per view they want to do it at, right?
Yeah.
And then do it like that way.
Yeah, that's all I think it should be. The only person that could take Roman down, seeing that Brock Lesnar couldn't, Edge couldn't, Cena couldn't, all these legends couldn't. What legend is a part of his bloodline? Let's see, The Rock. Because Cody Rhodes, American Nightmare, comes in, not a part of the bloodline, really he's never, ever, I don't think, even his first run with the WWE, ever wrestled Roman Reigns. They have no history whatsoever in the ring at all. So this would literally be like their first run together. I don't know if the Stardust persona, when he was Stardust, did they ever wrestle? I'd think not. And if they did, it's probably
I don't think if they did. They maybe done it once.
like briefly when he was like tag teaming with his brother at one point. Maybe he went against the Shield at some point. I don't know. But what I'm saying is it's just not believable. It's not. It's not believable at all. And I think it's really bad for business. And I think, you know, the WWE has been doing a lot of stupid firing people shit a lot lately. And before we end this, how disappointed was you? Were you as disappointed as I was that Alexa Bliss lost?
Yes, like
What was the point of giving her all these promos like for being like scary and Bianca Belair's head just to lose at the pay per view? Because they're starting to make this a running thing. She dominates on Raw, make her lose. I get it. Bianca Belair is a great women's champion, and especially for the black women, she's probably one of the great black women's champion of all time, if not the best black women's champion of all time. But in the powerhouse too. But Alexa Bliss is like a two-time champion. Like it's never a good look. It's never a good feel to be a wrestler that's been champion multiple times and you're not champion anymore. And every time you give an opportunity, they tell you got to lose. Like
yeah, it's like not once. She probably about 3 times facing Bianca. Lost, lost. The storyline. Bianca wins. Bianca wins. Bianca wins. And you think this has got to be one time maybe they decide to have her win it.
yeah.
Title back. No, no, no. They gotta keep it on Bianca all the time.
I think Alexa Bliss definitely needs her championship back. Definitely does. But I think somehow Alexa's going to insert herself in a triple threat match at Mania. Somehow Mania is going to be Alexa, Rhea, and Bianca. Somehow. And in that fashion, I think Alexa's going to win at WrestleMania. I
Well,
think it's going to be something like that. I think somehow Alexa's going to insert her way. Or don't the women have Elimination Chamber too, right?
I think they started. Yes,
So I think Alexa can either win it
they
in the
did.
chamber match, because think about it. If Alexa wins the chamber, she don't have to pin Bianca. Somebody else can. She just got to be the last woman standing. So it's believable for Alexa to win that and for Rhea to probably beat her at Mania, or she retains. Or somehow Bianca somehow inserts herself into the triple threat match and somehow fucking win her belt back.
Which that's
Which would piss me off, but I think that probably can happen. But
yeah.
I know for a fact Alexa Bliss will be in the chamber. We know that.
Is soon because we're just getting tired of them. The creators just giving her like all these top reign opportunities and never let her have it. Because if they don't give her the title soon, by now it's for WrestleMania. It's like now it's like no even point, and she might as well almost leave just to
Pretty
go to
much.
AEW or somewhere.
AEW. I was
At
just say AEW. So, last point before we go, guys. Cody, what are your thoughts on the WWE 2K23 versus the AEW game that's been pushed back once again?
Yeah, I'm surprised that one because AEW thing was announced before 2K.
It was announced before 2K22.
Exactly, and it's on the freaking collection in the store, still on no date. So I don't even know what AEW is doing. Like they announced the game, it's in the freaking collection in the store. There is a freaking trailer of it and gameplay, probably. So what are you doing? If you're trying to compete with the WWE 2K game and be that better wrestling company than WWE, you want this game. Why can't you have
You know what I think happened? I think it took so long for them to put out the product. They realized that the WWE was already developing 2K23, so they had to kind of pull it and like rework it. So it has to be up to par with 2K23 and not 2K22 now. And if you think about it, a lot of the wrestlers that was on the roster when that game was, in production has heat with AEW. Like, for example, CM Punk got heat with AEW. He was actually one of the main wrestlers on the game. And I just read somewhere that CM Punk was pulled. He's no longer in the game. So I
wow.
think they're updating the game, to a certain extent. Do I think this game will be better than WWE 2K22? Fuck no. Is it gonna hold weight to 2K23? No. Is this game gonna compete with WWE at any level? No. I think it's gonna be a fun alternative, but it's not gonna be anything nowhere near close to competing with a WWE product video game. I just don't.
Because I've seen the trailers, like in pictures, and some of those like game mode. There's like mini game modes where you end up freaking hitting a ball on a baseball field, like kind
The
of.
fuck?
Yes, you go look at the picture. At PlayStation action pictures, there's these fucking mini games and looks like a baseball field.
Yeah,
And
nobody likes that shit.
that,
Yeah, I was never a fan of those alternative wrestling games where you got wrestlers and four wheelers and shit, you know, or when you got big head wrestlers and everybody got superpowers and shit when the Undertaker is really in
oh,
hell and shit. That's boring. Nobody wants to play that shit now. When Roman Reigns was really Superman and shit, and Cena was really
you,
fucking jumping this high. I don't like wrestling games
it,
like that.
it's funny. Yeah, you're talking about that was one of those stupid.
2021, that All Star shit.
No, oh, there was that two worst game before we get in that worst game before they had a year off. Yeah, I just remembered. No, you were talking about stupid stuff on the game. The stupidest thing was that big head thing that you can turn on and off. On I think it was 2K20. No,
That
not
was
2K20,
fucking dumb.
20 or 19 or so. That you end up turning on, you can have a big head, so Roman can come with this big ball head, and it's like like doing this. That's so, but uh, my that's 23 is the only thing I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that game. It's playing the war games, Matt. They've had it. The new mode of the war games. I don't understand why Cena's on it. That's disappointing to my opinion. Like two things. One, Cena's on the cover. Why the hell is he on it? He was
Well,
on.
I think Cena's on the cover because they finally given him his Legends edition. I know Cena was on multiple covers. Like I think he was on 2K15. He had the soundtrack of 2K15. But I think this is the first cover because they do this a lot, right? They do a lot of covers where it's like they give you a cover as an active like roster member, and then they give you a legend cover. Like for example, like for Kobe Bryant example, for 2K, they gave him an active cover. I think in 2K10, and then they gave him a legends cover in 2K20. And I think they did the same shit. They're gonna do the same shit for LeBron. So I think this is just his legends cover now because it's like
I believe Susan.
they just giving him that one to be honest or whatnot.
But I don't know. It might be a little expensive for you, but if we're here, like the eye for our icon price is close to like $200.
I think here that shit's like 129. or 130 or some shit. Am I gonna buy it? Yeah, because I want to play with the OVW scene and I want to play with the OVW Randy.
Yeah, I think it's like few, but for us here, it's to me in that kind of price, that's just to me is stupid for what you okay. You're getting these an old John Cena, Brock, or Randy.
Well, since we game share, you should be able to use those people anyway, right?
Well, yeah. Well, you but I'm talking about like seeing
Yeah,
people
like if you had to buy it, yeah, that shit would be fucked.
just get it like that's dumb to me. In that price, if you're going to pay something from that price, it better be a collector's edition where you're getting something. I don't know, like an autograph, John, maybe autograph Randy card.
Yeah, something,
It's
or a
but
better DLC pack. Give us a ruthless aggression era pack with everybody from that era.
something really more than just a couple guys, and you'll get the seasons pass, and
And the VC shit.
you get a couple of these now faction cards. But I, be honest, don't play it. I don't do that card. The only card thing I'll do is maybe on NBA, but that's the only. But I don't. I've never
The
touched.
only thing I do on NBA, you know those boosts, like the Gatorade boosts and the Gatorade boost skill card shit.
Yeah,
You know, that's the only shit that I use. I don't even use those bullshit cards. I don't know how the fuck to use them.
it's not like my. Like just like the whole thing is just my team, and you get the card, you can just make your own team thing. But I don't do it in 2K.
Me
So it's
neither.
kind of a waste, and it's just these things. So it makes more sense for those things to be in the deluxe edition
Yeah.
and have it like it's like okay. And I don't understand how that's like a jump off between 30 some to more. It's like whatever. It's so dumb.
But
But
all
I
right, we're
okay.
probably gonna end it now. Make sure you guys go to the channel banner, add me on social media. Instagram is Anthony_King Voss. Um, add me on TikTok. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. Anybody that's not subscribed to go subscribe to Cody and Channel Dragon. He should comment. He should comment down below so you guys can subscribe to his channel. Um, and if you guys ever want to play video games, Call of Duty, wrestling, whatever, you can message me on Snapchat, which my Snapchat is Anthony King Voss, and just tell me your PlayStation name because we're on PlayStation, and we'll add you to the party. You know, you going to stream WWE? Yep, I am actually going to stream. Wait, it's
All right,
Tiger Run. Nice
Derek.
try, Aaron.
Fuck, Derek, would you knock it off? Like, hold on. I'm about to comment my channel name again on just on my other channel.
Cody is about to comment his YouTube channel name right now, so make sure you guys go subscribe to Cody's YouTube channel. Um, Cody he's a video game streamer. He streams video game walkthroughs, and he's really great at what he does. So you guys make sure you go subscribe to his channel too.
Just hold on. I can more send the link. See, and then yeah. So once I said it, subscribe line, and I'll be streaming. Actually, not this next coming week.
The Hogwarts game.
Hogwarts game.
And I will actually be in all the parties of those streams too. So I will be in the parties with Cody. So make sure you guys go watch his Hogwarts stream.
No, we're probably the next one. I might even talk about that soon because I'm pretty sure some of you are like, why are you streaming that?
Well, me and Cody are big fans of Harry Potter. If you haven't already figured that out, obviously we were like wrestling. We like the odd shit, so to speak, that the people in the general public really don't like. So I'm actually going to be playing Hogwarts off stream. I'm not a video game streamer like Cody. We all know I'm known for the music reactions, but you know, Cody is the streamer, so he will be streaming Hogwarts. I will be in the party with him for all the walkthroughs. And this is kind of how me and Cody does. If I get further along in the game than he does, I'll help him out with a boss fight because there's gonna be some big fucking boss fights in this game.
Well, so I just comment my other channel, guys. I sent a link to you guys click that link, the latest one, you'll go right to my. You'll pretty much go right to one of the videos, and then you can just click from there my channel. But yeah, the key as well. So he's not extra. We did it one. There's been like the one time for Gotham Knights we streamed together.
Mhm.
If it's a 2-player game, we'll join. We can stream. We'll definitely stream it.
Mhm.
Not I'm more of the one that streams games, and he, since you're a fan, most subscribes to this channel, he's more of the music reaction
Mhm.
type, and then we add the podcast to it.
Now we have the music reactions and the podcast. But guys, without further ado, it's boy King Voss, and it's Cody and Enchanted Dragon. We are out of here. We will see you guys in the next podcast, guys.
Peace, guys.
Peace out.